And Dikala, these are the grasslands where the Project Tiger was launched way back in 1972. Project Tiger did not do anything with the tiger. The whole idea was to protect the complete ecosystem. Sorry. Then these are the different habitats of Corbett. There's a river which flows all through the park called Ramganga River, which flows northwesterly, and around the vegetation you have the vegetation which is known as riverine or riparian vegetation. Then you got the dry tropical moist deciduous forest. This is the dominant species of the forest called sal. You might have seen the broadleaf trees all around here. Further as you go towards the road, those are all teak. Teak is not natural to the forest here in Corbett. Teak was all planted. And teak has broad leaves. It doesn't let the sunlight pass through, so the ground vegetation is nil. There's a lot of soil erosion. While sal also grows very thickly in canopy and all that, but sal releases a lot of moisture for the soil. And wherever the sal forest is there, you see dense undergrowth. There is a fish called mahashir, which is one of the finest carps, and it gives a very good fight back to the fishermen. They can grow up to 50, 60 pounds, and they have the power to drag a fisherman into the water. If there is an amateur fisherman who is not fully equipped, he can be dragged into the water by the fish. They're so powerful. And this is the catfish. This is the only species of catfish which we have in India. It is called goonch, or the tiger shark, or the mountain shark. Then we have 3 species of crocodilians here in India. I'm sure you know all of them. One is this saltwater crocodile or estuarine crocodile, which is found in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Then we have the freshwater crocodile called mugger. And then we have the long snouted crocodile called ghadial. You know ghadial, why? How come the name comes ghadial? Only in the case of the males, when the breeding season comes, which is about February to June, the males have long, snout. At the tip of the snout, there is a structure which develops in the form of ghada, where we keep water in during summers, the earthen pot, ghada. So it's a carrier of ghada, ghadial. It is there only in the males, not in the females. In the males, it becomes very prominent. During the breeding season, the breeding males have very prominent ghada-like structure on their snout. This is the largest lizard called monitor lizard. Right?
Monitor.
Sexual dimorphism.
This is sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism is still there in reptiles. Also in birds, the males are always more beautiful, colorful.
In frog also.
In frogs also, amphibians also. Only in the case of mammals, to some extent, there is no sexual dimorphism. But otherwise, in all other orders, this is monitor lizard, which is the largest in the lizard, but absolutely non-poisonous, non-venomous. But people kill the lizard because of superstitious beliefs. It's a nest feeder, feeds on the bird nests. This is one of the largest surviving snakes on this earth, called Indian rock python, what we call ajgar. We have the largest snake on this earth is called anaconda, because of the length and the girth. Then boa constrictor, which is found in Africa, and then Indian rock python. Now these 3 snakes are also known as constrictor snakes. They constrict their body. He would be lying stationary on the ground as if he is dead. He won't move at all. The strongest part of the snake's body is tail, especially the constrictor snake. When his prey, which could be a spotted deer like this, would come in close proximity, he would entangle the deer in his body using the tail, and he would form a very powerful grip. And once he has got the complete grip, he would constrict his body. He would reduce himself. What will happen in this? There is heavy pressure applied onto the backbone of the deer. So the backbone gets broken, and when the backbone is broken, the deer becomes immobile, and then he swallows. These snakes have movable jaws. They can expand their mouths as per the size of the prey, and they keep swallowing the prey, and the whole prey goes into the snake's body, and you can see the peristaltic movement like this. I was sitting on the elephant back. I was studying my tigers in the forest, and I saw something like this, which was very interesting. I was there with the camera, not this one. I had an Olympus DSLR, not the other ones, not the digital ones now. And there was a python who had just killed a deer, and I got down. I thought maybe this is once in a blue moon I would be able to take some good pictures. And I started clicking, and suddenly the python got panicked, and he charged. So the biggest thing around him was the elephant. So he charged at the elephant. The elephant ran away. The elephant ran away and left me there in the grassland like this. And later on I realized that there was a tigress with two cubs close by.
Oh.
Because the tigress also kind of down from there. This is Indian rock python. No, this is king cobra eating the monitor lizard. You know, king cobra is the longest venomous snake in the world. You know which is the most venomous snake in the world is? No. African mambra, black mambra. Huh?
Black mamba.
Right? They live close to the Maasais, you know. And the longest venomous snake is found in Corbett also. This is called king cobra or hamadryad. You know, hamadryad. Perfect, we'll go. Now, Corbett has, the beauty of Corbett is, there are tigers and elephants and all that, but the beauty is the bird life. This is possibly the richest place in the world for any single reserve to house 550 species of birds. Nowhere else you would find so many species of birds. Kaziranga has only about 400 species. Bharatpur, which is supposed to be the wetland park of the country and very famous for bird watching and all that, only about 350 species of birds. But Corbett has a lot of birds coming from Siberia, as well as the transient migratory birds coming from the higher hills down to the lower hills. Both forest as well as wetland birds, both aquatic as well as terrestrial birds. So Corbett has the highest number of bird species, which is about 550. I have personally seen 550 birds, but that is over a period of 20 years of my life. This is the common kingfisher, which also happens to be the commonest bird in the world. Except Antarctica, it is found in all other continents. Africa, Asia, Australia, North America, South America, Europe, except Antarctica. This is a bird which is specific to Corbett. This is called crested kingfisher. This is the biggest kingfisher. Yeah. I'm sure you know about the kingfishers. Basically, they feed on fish all the time, and they live usually near the water bodies and streams and nalas and all that. There are quite a few species. What we have in Assam and Kaziranga is the black cap kingfisher. You have white breasted kingfisher, and then you also have the pied kingfisher. This is an oriole called maroon oriole. When you go in the forest, you would hear a sound something like this coming. This is an oriole. The one which would call like this is called black hooded oriole. It's a yellow bird with black head. But this is specific to Corbett. Maroon oriole. This is great hornbill. You have them in Kaziranga also. Yes. Also in Pabitora I had seen a nest there. You know, in Asia there are about 75 species of raptors. You know, raptors are the birds of prey, the birds which can kill smaller birds like owls, hawks, eagles, vultures, kites. These are all raptor birds. In Southeast Asia there are about 75 species. I have seen 55 species in Corbett. The biggest raptor of Southeast Asia is called Lammergeier, which is also known as bearded vulture. And the smallest raptor is Collet falconet. Both of them are found in Corbett. You know where, see, tigers live in Southeast Asia, right? And what is the definition of Southeast Asia? Let me just increase your knowledge. Southeast Asia is an area which is just 16% of the total world's geographical area, and Southeast Asia houses 68% of the total world population. So about 70% of the total world population lives in 16% of the total world geographical area, and everybody is looking for a space where tigers also live, so there are bound to be clashes. This is the owl called brownfish owl. Any idea why did Lakshmi ji chose owl as her vahana? You know, Lakshmi ji is the goddess for wealth.
Yes.
Yeah, now the concept of the wealth in India is the benchmark, which is the Sensex, you know, FDI and all that. But earlier the wealth of the old Indian society used to be the crop harvest. Agrarian society, the crop harvest. And what do the owls do? Owls have been given by the god this capacity to rotate their necks by about 260 degrees, right?
Yes.
So sitting on a branch, they have great eyesight. They could see a rodent moving around in the crop field, damaging the crop harvest. So owls used to catch them, and that was the reason why Lakshmi ji had chosen owl as a vahana, because the wealth of the Indian society was crop harvest. And we've got another bird. These are the spotted owlets. We have them in Kaziranga also. This is the jungle owlet. You have them in Kaziranga also. There's great similarity of the bird life in, as far as Corbett and Northeast India is concerned. This is the changeable hawk eagle. This is the male. Same bird. This is Pallas's fishing eagle, one of the rarest raptors in the world. Only about 5 pairs are left. Can we name some of the rarest birds in the world? Siberian crane. Only about 3 pairs are left. Then ibis bill. Only about 3-4 species. 3-4 number of birds are left. That's it. They're about to die.
White-winged wood duck.
White-winged wood duck, which is also heavily pink-headed duck, which got extinct from Dibrusaikhova. This is one of the vulture species called Egyptian vulture, and this is the king vulture or red-headed vulture. If you can recall, we had this problem with the vulture populations going down in numbers, right? About 98% of the total vulture population of India had almost finished. And we thought there's some viral disease affecting them and all that, but that was not the case. After intensive research, we came to know that this medicine called diclofenac, which is a painkiller which we also eat, that is given to the livestock who are made to work extra, and to relieve them from the pain in the evening. The diclofenac was given to them, and fodder and all that. And the vultures fed on the diclofenac infested carcasses of cows and buffaloes, and their bones became hollow, they couldn't fly, they couldn't breathe, and the vulture population started coming down. This is black stork, which is one of the migratory birds which comes from Tibet, but fortunately they have now become resident in Corbett. If a bird becomes a resident after following a pattern of migration, if it becomes a resident, that testifies to the health of the habitat. Did you hear this? Oriol? Right? This is black-rooted. You could listen to me, right? These are woolly-necked storks in the riverbed. Huh? This is black-necked stork. I love watching birds. And this is Indian blue jay, Indian roller. Are you all taking interest in this or not?
Yes,
Yeah? This is the bird which is usually found near the water body. This is called Plumbeus red star. You know Plumbeus, PB?